Welcome back, my friends, to the Predictive Playbook. And this is one hell of an exciting week here. Week one, college football action. But before we get there, it's even better when you're a PGA Tour fan like I am, and like many of you are that are watching. So thanks for watching, and please welcome David Bearman to the show, ESPN's Deputy Editor of Sports Content and winner on this show. This is our 21st show we've done together. He's been profitable in 18 of them, so we're definitely going to be tailing his action again this week. Welcome to the show, David. How is everything?
Thanks. Good. I had a vacation last week, so I wasn't on the show, so my apologies. I didn't actually get into the column. I played a little things here or there just because you got to have some action. And had I written the column, had I been on the show, I would have been all over Bryson because of the long course. And it's a bomber's course, and not necessarily expecting minus 27 to win it, but we were all right on Bryson. He had a 6-shot lead. He was there. He had, 75 different chances to win from the 17th hole on into the playoff. And, it was one of those things where eventually you just got to hedge with Cantlay. When you have the long odds on Bryson, I was surprised to find him I took him at 20-1. I saw him as high as 35-1. It's almost like a no-brainer betting him there. I think he was mispriced.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, he didn't win, and that's what matters. But because you did have him, it was able to bet on Cantlay. So we did win a little bit back on him, not what we could have won had Bryson won. But I do look at a couple of weeks ago when I did lose money, and I was like, well, I wasn't on John's show. Maybe that's the reason.
Well, I'd like to think that. I appreciate that. I'll take that as a compliment for sure. I know my DraftKings, because of your expertise and insights, has been better.
Good.
And there's no denying that. So it's been multiple weeks with last week was a slight gain in the DraftKings, but that 6 holes of playoff golf, I've never seen anything like it in my life. In fact, as you know, Patrick Cantlay set the tour record for shots gained putting on the all-time list, and I believe it was 14.5.
It was unbelievable theater. I was even tweeting out, if you're watching something else, turn on the golf. It's funny because I did a show Saturday night, a live podcast when I got back from vacation, knowing that Sunday morning was going to be, pretty much match play between the two. And I was point blank asked on the air to think about the best duels I've ever seen in golf. And obviously last year's Rahm and DJ comes to mind. Phil Mickelson, Hendrik Stenson at the Open comes to mind. The duel in the sun with Watson and Nicholson comes to mind. And it was asked because the next day you had 2 guys who had a 4-shot lead, which, by the way, the lead was gone by the time they teed off. So credit to Cantlay and DeChambeau. By the time they teed off, the lead was already gone. Sergio was up there. Others were catching them. But at the end of the day, the two of them separated themselves, and it was a duel that, if you ask me the question today, I'll say the best duel that I've ever seen was the one I watched on Sunday. It was unbelievable. And I was outside cutting the lawn, listening to the play-by-play, and then I got inside around the 17th hole and thought it'd be over in about 10 minutes. Cantlay goes in the water. It's over. And that was just the beginning. It was unbelievable. Obviously, I had more money on Bryson than Cantlay. I probably would have enjoyed the playoff a lot more had I had Cantlay. But at the end of the day, anybody who, even if you're not a golf fan, that was unbelievable theater to watch the two of them. And hey, Bryson's getting a lot of criticism for missing the putts and some of his behavior during the round and after the round, but you got to give him credit. Every time he missed a putt to win, he'd step up there and hit a 360-yard drive right down the middle of the fairway, then hit an iron to within 20 feet. He gave himself the opportunity repeatedly, and it's like, how many more times is he going to have these chances? And then, just when you think the wheels come off because he put his drive in the water, he then hit ones to 4 feet, hits the par. So obviously everybody's raving about how Cantlay didn't die and kept coming back and kept coming back and kept coming back. I don't think Bryson's getting enough credit for continuing to hit good shot after good shot after good shot after missing the putts that he missed. End of the day, he lost. That's what people are going to remember, 4 or 5 putts to win or tie. And Cantlay hit them all. But it's not easy to hit a 360-yard drive right down the middle of the fairway after missing a putt to win. He did it time and time and time again.
He absolutely did. And the takeaway I had was that you couldn't have had 2 more contrasting styles of golf than these 2 guys, because Cantlay is not long off the tee. especially when compared to Bryson. And that 18th hole, he had to be at least 50, 60 yards behind him on every single time they played that hole. And truly the difference was the flat stick. When Cantley was lining up even 20-footers, his body language was telling me that this was going in. This was a make. And the focus was just unbelievable for both guys. But you're right. You miss a 6-footer to win it and be the number 1 seed this week at Eastlake, and then you get right to the next hole and you bomb at 360. I mean, it was remarkable.
I think you learned a lot about both of them, and obviously Cantlay has the better flat stick than Bryson does, and Bryson obviously had some chipping issues, which caused the playoff to begin with on, when he missed the chip on 17. But the two of them, and what I thought was fascinating, and I know Dan Hicks and NBC did a great job, and they kept repeating what you just said about two different styles of golf doing what they're doing. I was just taken aback that you don't see people play the same hole 5, 6, 7 times unless you're at the Travelers Championship. And if you were to go back and watch 18 in regulation and, I don't know, the 4 times they played it in the playoff, Cantlay had between 168 and 171 to go every time. And Bryson had between 147 and 151 to go every time. The guys hit the exact same shot off the tee 5 consecutive times within like 5 yards of each other. And it's like, I could sit at the range and not duplicate anything that I do. But these guys, like every single time they were hitting their tee shots in the exact same place. And that was remarkable to me. They didn't really touch on that on the broadcast, but I just thought that was phenomenal that it was the same shot. It was the same approach. The only difference was Cantlay kept putting his irons in different locations every single time, but he hits the putts, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah, that chip shot he hit, I guess it was the 3rd time on 18 when he was he was pin high, but he was above the hole, and it was so fast. But there again, you could tell that he thought he could make it.
Yep.
As crazy as that is from that location, I mean, that's where the difference is between guys like us and the guys we love to watch on TV. But this week we're at Eastlake, and this is it. This is the Tour Championship. This is the oldest golf course in Atlanta. It's the home of Bobby Jones, but some people say it's the home of Rory McIlroy because he's had some incredible rounds of golf here. I think it was 2016, David, that he holed for an eagle from about 130 yards out and then got into a playoff and then won on the first playoff hole. Needless to say, we'll get right to it. I can't wait to hear who you like, why, and so I can tail them.
Yeah, I do like Rory this week, but you got to be careful about what you're betting. This is a different type of event. It is the Tour Championship with only 30 people in it. However, it is a staggered start, the new system that started 2 years ago where they have the different staggered stuff. So Rory and Xander Schauffele are the two guys who play Eastlake the best. If you look at all the statistics dating back to 2016, last 40, 50 rounds, Rory has 2 wins. Xander has a win. They both have all sorts of top 10s, and they play the best here. If you look at Xander last year, Xander had the lowest 72-hole score, but it wasn't enough to catch Dustin Johnson, who started multiple shots ahead as the number 1 seed. You go back 2 years ago, Rory rallied and beat Justin Thomas, who had the early lead because of the number 1 seed, and Rory was able to come from behind, have the low 72, and win it all. So you got to look at where they're starting, and in Rory's case, he's 8 shots back. And I think that might be a little bit too far to overcome. He did come back from 5 shots 2 years ago and beat Thomas by 5. So it was a 10-shot difference. But I'm playing Rory to have the low 72 to basically win the event without the FedEx Cup points. That would be at 12-1 because I don't think you're getting enough at 25-1 to play him to win. On the flip side, Xander's getting 28-1, a little bit of better odds. Also 8 back. Xander plays here even better than Rory. Number 1 in shots gained, tee to green, shots gained at this court since 2017. So I'll be playing Xander to overcome the deficit and finish in the top 5. I'll be playing Rory and to have the lowest 72. And I'll be playing Rory to have the low 72 and finish in the top 5. Because at the end of the day, you can still get into the top 5. There's a lot of money on the line. You're getting close to $350 for Rory getting that top 5. And I don't see how he doesn't. He's also been playing well recently with 4th at the BMW, 4th at the Olympics, 12th at the World Golf Championship, and tied for 7th at the U.S. Open. Rory is showing the Rory of old, so I think he can do it. as far as Xander, it's basically a play on how good he's been on this course. I am worried a little bit about the Olympic hangover that he's shown the last couple of weeks, but the best thing for his hangover is to come play Eastlake, where he has played Eastlake better than anybody, and he's getting better odds than Rory to win it outright at 28-1. If there was one long shot I would play to win it from behind, it would be Xander, but I'll be playing both of them to finish in the top 5 and to have the low 72.
I love it. I love it. Now, the contenders, let's start with Patrick. He's starting at -10. And that's a very good point you make. There's 2 different forms on DraftKings, too. There's the one with the guys are starting out, like Patrick Cantley is number 1. He's -10 before he even gets to the first tee. And so on and so forth. DeChambeau is second at -8. And it goes, there's like 4 guys at -4 until it gets down to player number 30, which is Patrick Reed. So do you think Cantley has enough to hang on here to win it? Because the market is telling me that the market's telling me no way, that there's too many.
It really depends on what you think Patrick Cantley is going to do this week. He had a record-breaking performance on the greens last week. If you think in the grand scheme of things that one way is, does the putter stay hot? The putter stay hot, Patrick Cantley is your FedEx Cup champion. He's going to win it. He's going to win it again. He has a 2-shot lead. He'll hold on and win it. If you're a regression to the means type guy that says there's no possible way Patrick Cantley can keep this up, and I would argue people were saying that during the broadcast on Sunday, he can't continue to hit these putts. He did. It's a different course, different style. I don't think he can keep that up, and a 2-shot lead is not enough for me. He has a 4-shot lead over Jon Rahm, who quite simply, with all due respect to Cantley, Open champion Colin Morikawa, or anybody else who's won on tour this year, Jon Rahm is the best player in the game right now. He is the only one who has finished on the first page of the leaderboard in every single event that he's played since late May. T8 at the PGA, leading the Memorial before having to withdraw, won the U.S. Open, 3rd at the British, 3rd at the Northern Trust, 9th at the BMW. Every big event Jon Rahm has played in, he's finished top 10. 4-shot lead, not good enough for me. I think Jon Rahm overcomes that by the end of day 1, and then I'm not betting against him over the last 3 rounds. He's the best player in the world. He took over the number 1 spot in tee to green and shots gained overall from Colin Morikawa after Morikawa has tailored off the last few weeks coming back from the Olympics. So this course is a course that you need tee to green. You need to get off the tee. You need to be able to hit fairways. And there's nobody better than Jon Rahm. And as far as this course is concerned, he hasn't won it, but he has finished in the top 12 in all 4 appearances. I think this is the event. Rahm wins the event, wins the FedEx Cup, completely erases what happened at the Memorial, and your PGA Tour Player of the Year, your U.S. Open champion, your FedEx Cup champion, 4-1 odds. Jon Rahm, I think, takes it down because he's positioned himself where even though he's a couple of shots back, he's not too far back like Rory and Xander and JT, plays well here, and ultimately is going to get it done. If Jon Rahm was in 27th place and he was 9 shots back, I may not take him, but I think he's in a perfect position where 4 shots is not a lot to make up.
Again, it reminds me of the history with Tiger Woods at this event. 1998 was the first year they had this, and it took him 4 times where he was either leader after 3 or tied to actually win the event, which is so un-Tiger-like. And all of those events were played here at Eastlake. So to your point, Jon Rahm now has the experience of the course. He's getting better and better, and this is his time.
And if you agree with it. And if you read the column this morning that we have out on ESPN Chalk, or you're listening to the picks, you're going to hear a lot of big names, whether it's Jon Rahm, Cantley, Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele. And it's not that we just love the big names. It's the way format is set up. It's set up for top heavy. And it is very hard to come from far back to win it because of the staggered start. Like, I'd love to play a Sam Burns. I would love to play a Van Ruin. It's just those guys you're starting 8, 9, 10 shots back. That is hard to make up over 4 rounds, and the odds are indicative of that. So I think that the winner of the FedEx Cup is going to come from a group that's within 5 shots. And it's only the 3rd year of the event. McIlroy rallied from 5 2 years ago. You know, Xander was further back but never caught Dustin. He finished 3 back, and he was 8 to start with. So that's 5 shots he made up. 5 shots seem to be, in the 2 years of this event, at a course that the winning score is usually 11, 12, 13 under par, not 27. If the winning score is between 10 and 13, it is tough to make up more than 5 shots. So that's why I'm looking at, Rory and Xander to finish in the top 5, if maybe a low score of the week. And Justin Thomas, he's only 6 back. He plays well here, 6th, 2nd, 7th, 3rd, and runner-up. He had the lead 2 years ago. He's only 6 back. I think he has an outside chance at 16-1 odds. But really, I think it comes from that top group of players because that's what the format is. Whether you like it or don't like it, you go back 3 years, Tiger Woods wins here. Justin Rose won the FedEx Cup, and nobody remembers that. So the tour said, that's not cool. Let's change the format. I kind of like the old format better because you could crown 2 champions, and it's more of the end of the season because you would hate to see, Cantlay right now through all but one event is the number 1 guy in the FedEx Cup. And if he shoots 3 shots worse than Tony Finau, he's not going to win the Cup, where that might have won him the Cup a few years ago based on points. We'll see. There's really no perfect solution to it. You have NASCAR where the last event of the year, only 4 guys are racing for anything, and the other 30 racers it's just weird. But the tour wants a champion at the end, and this is what they've set up. So just be careful when you're reading and handicapping that there are multiple ways to play this event.
Yeah, especially in the DraftKings, because Cantlay, for example, starts out with 30 points before he even makes a tee shot. But they are running the one that is straight up.
Yep.
So make sure you know which one you're entering if you're going to do that.
And hey, the DraftKings, you said that you gave me credit for helping you win at DraftKings. All the money that I've won at DraftKings allowed me last week in New Jersey, where I could bet on DraftKings, to take that money and bet on NFL and college football futures. So my futures are out there based on golf winnings. So that's good.
That is very good. And make sure you guys get over there to see who he likes in college football. With the time left, you want to share any of those college football futures?
Sure. I'll off the top of my head, I know I have Auburn under 7.5. I just think they're a little bit of a train wreck right now with their coaching situation and hard schedule. So I don't see them winning 8 games, and you can find 7.5 in certain places. I'm trying to think, who else did I take? Oof. You can find it in the articles. Basically,
yeah.
Our season prep articles are out. We're actually going to have week 1 picks out later today. And Stanford Steve and the Bear will be out tomorrow morning. So those will be up. Our golf column's already out. I know usually we talk on Tuesdays, but this is Wednesday. And our massive NFL preview guide will be out on Friday. I did take the Jacksonville Jaguars under 6.5 and Arizona Cardinals over 8. So those are 2 picks that I took that are going to be in the column.
Yeah, and lastly, I think the news on Mac Jones is 100% correct. It's no hype with this kid. He absorbs football playbooks like a sponge, from what I've heard from coaches that have worked with him. And you got to believe that Belichick, as one of the ESPN articles said, I saw the headline was that Belichick refuses to coach scared.
It's a great article.
Isn't that the truth?
Great article by Seth Wickersham, a good friend of mine. His kid and my kid are in the same daycare class, so I got to hang out with Seth a bunch. Great piece he has out there. He's dialed into it, and hey, who would have thought that Alabama would turn into quarterback university as you have Mac Jones versus Tua week 1? So
it's awesome. It's just awesome stuff. Before I let you go, anything else you want to share with the viewers?
No, I hope everybody had a good time betting golf. This will be the last one for a while. We might dive in here or there, but it's full steam ahead. As soon as I get off this call, full steam ahead into college football and NFL. You'll still see some of my picks for some of the smaller silly season events, but for the most part, this will be wrapping up until we get to January.
Yeah, that's the one thing with PGA Tour. The season ends this weekend, but it's 1 week off, and they're right back at it. But some of the events are probably not really worth betting or doing DraftKings, but we'll figure all that stuff out for you. But David, thanks very much for your time, as always, and let's rock this one more time.
Absolutely.
So on behalf of David, myself, ESPN, WagerTalk.com, and SportsMemo.com, may all the wins be yours.